We have a ton of new information on the pre-download, some new giveaway information, additionally some corrections on my last video, as well as some more official information alongside community updates. We got a ton to talk about. What's up, world? It's Utopia back here with another video. Today we're checking out all things Frag Punk. Okay, so first up here, a major update. If you didn't know, the preload is now available. So if you are on Steam, you are able to pre-download. However, that seems to be the only PC platform that you can download from. As of right now, Loading Bay and Epic Games do not have that accessed. So you can only pre-download if you want to play it through Steam. As of right now, again, Epic Games and Loading Bay do not have that. It's a little bit weird, especially with Loading Bay, because that is NetEase's platform or their own launcher. In fact, you can actually pre-download over on the China client or the China version of NetEase's Loading Bay, but the NA client does not have it as of recording this video. Now, what you could do if you really wanted to play on Epic Games or Loading Bay, you could probably pre-download on Steam, have all the files installed, then go to the Epic Games Store and try to download the game but pause it immediately. Then place all the Steam files into the Epic Games folder. It should then recognize, and then you shouldn't have to download much aside from a few things from Epic Games or Loading Bay. That would be my trick to it. I was going to do that with the China version of the Loading Bay client if there was no pre-download, although now for other regions you can pre-download that on Steam. We had some additional official updates here. This first one, of course, if you haven't seen, we had a lot of streamers yesterday play the game. These were for the other regions, NA and some in Europe, but the likes of Shroud, Myth, and a few others did actually play FragPunk in a 5v5 tournament. You can see that here. Shroud also has his own card. Looks like they are allowing a lot of content creators to make their own version of a card. I've heard even some Valorant streamers have had that chance. So pretty cool there. We could see some pretty high peaks, especially if all of them are playing it today. Another official update here is that GeForce Now announces FragPunk support, and they do mention that FragPunk will be playable via GeForce at launch, which is quite huge there for those of you that don't have a good PC or were waiting for the console release. And again, you can have a Chromebook or even any type of laptop, even if it has a hard time running games typically. GeForce Now is a cloud-based service which essentially allows you to use their computers or Nvidia's computers to play that via online or via Wi-Fi or via the internet, so you can actually play through GeForce Now and it will essentially stream the game to you. That's pretty cool there for anybody that needed that option. So again, hopefully it is made available on launch as they do mention here. It looks like it will be. It might be a few hours after. Again, I'll keep you guys updated on that if they do actually launch it and if it did actually launch. Also with FragPunk's launch, they are receiving brand new driver updates for Nvidia. As of right now, AMD doesn't really have any new driver updates. They haven't received one since November of 2024. And in fact, the last driver update they did release after that was an optional one, and all it did provide was for Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Final Fantasy Rebirth. So as of right now, no AMD driver for FragPunk. With the new Nvidia driver update though, they did also and are going to be receiving DLSS 4, which does include multi-frame generation. It's also going to be launching with it, so you shouldn't need to override. It's going to have DLSS frame gen, multi-frame gen, DLSS super resolution, and even the brand new Transformer AI model with NVIDIA Reflex. So really cool to see that it actually is launching with these capabilities and you won't actually need to override. Speaking of console, my previous video update, a lot of the delays there, everything that kind of encapsulated that. There's been a ton of concerns around that by console release, when we're going to be seeing that. Again, we don't have any definitive date there. I break down exactly what is probably more than likely the case, which is with the Xbox and the TRC Sony certifications, as every game does need to pass those, and that more than likely is why it had to go for the delay. Although it could have been a developer's choice there, we're not exactly sure as they didn't disclose that, but typically that is what the case is. Now, some people did run to the Reddit with the information that I did provide, and they kind of went around making a bunch of claims here. Again, please do take all of that with a grain of salt. It is not confirmed. And also, like this post here saying that PlayStation is the reason for the delay, we don't know that for sure. In fact, they could have failed both Xbox and Sony's certifications. Yes, Sony and TRC do have a much harder certification process. It is much more rigid, and Xbox does essentially allow the game to go through for certain things. So you could weigh that that was more than likely on Sony. Why they wouldn't have released it on Xbox and not PlayStation though, that does beg the question there. So we don't know for sure if PlayStation is the reason for the delay. So please do take that for a grain of salt. Again, we don't know for sure on which console or if it was both. Essentially, that might have just been the reason, and it just gives some clarification around all the processes there. Again, games have been released on PlayStation and PC or Xbox and PC, and then been delayed on the other platform. So again, we don't know why they wouldn't have just delayed for the one. It could have failed both certifications. There was another post here being concerned about canceled pre-orders, that they haven't given a release date, that they're worried that it's going to be a couple of months or even longer. However, again, due to platform policies, they actually were forced to cancel all pre-orders. I'm sure more than likely they probably would have wanted to keep those in place, especially if it's only a few weeks or a week delay. But with Xbox and Sony platform policies, they did have to cancel everyone's pre-order. So their hand was forced there on that. Also, with the notion of why they cannot give a release date, again, that does coincide more than likely with the certification processes, as they do have to resubmit and reapply for that. And we do not know that for sure, but if that is the case, that is why they cannot give a new release date, as they are dependent on Xbox and Sony giving them the go. So if they resubmit and fail and they just gave a new release date and they can't meet that again, that would really not look good overall. So that is why we're not receiving a release date. We're just essentially waiting on word from both the console manufacturers, at least more than likely. I've also seen some community concerns and questions around the giveaways. So right now they are hosting that Twitter giveaway, or essentially if you do add their Twitter account, for this one for both the NA and EU regions, it is #BreakTheRules. You essentially then have a chance to win one of these items here, which is either a lifetime battle pass, also giving away 1,000 $10 Steam gift cards, and another 1,000 weapon charms. Probably going to be one of the most rare items in the game, unless that is later sold in a bundle pack or on the cosmetic store. And then everybody basically has been receiving one of these in-game item packs. They have 100,000 of those to give away. Now there is a little bit of a trick here that you can do. Players have found out that the Japanese Twitter account for FragPunk is also hosting this giveaway, and it is using a different hashtag, so you can get a few more chances here to try to win. However, as of recording this video, we are on a 20-hour countdown timer now, so I do believe these will be ending tonight. Again, I've been trying to find information on that, but it does seem like overall that it probably is going to be ending, at least with this 20-hour countdown. They do still mention that daily giveaways are live though, so maybe it still goes on until they run out of codes. Again, you can try both the Japanese Twitter account as well as the regular NA account. I will provide what the hashtag is for the Japanese Twitter, that way you can get a few more chances to try to win. As of right now though, I've only gotten in-game packs. I've tweeted at them every day now, although I have heard and people have gotten the weapon charm, at least from some other content creators that have mentioned it, and I have also seen a screenshot of someone receiving the Steam gift card, so it is certainly possible, but it is lower than a 1% chance. Now there was a question on that giveaway stuff here, like this person asked the in-game pack if he has to wait for console release or if he can claim it tomorrow. They did mention that they were going to honor all rewards through engagement. However, does that imply the codes? We don't know for sure. Hopefully they don't have an expiration date there and you'll be able to apply those when you can play. We have one last community mentionable here asking if they can transfer their pre-order. They did download on Steam, but they pre-ordered with Epic Games. So essentially, if you do log in, more than likely what you're going to have to do is log in with the client that you pre-ordered on and then connect either your Steam or your Epic Games account to that. That way you can technically transfer your pre-order, although really it's just connecting your accounts together. That way you can have the multiple pre-orders there or have the pre-order on a different account. It's the same way if you wanted the Xbox or PlayStation pre-order, you will either have to have the Xbox app or a PlayStation console in order to have that on PC. Overall, that's about cover for today's video. If you like, subscribe, and until the next one. Deuce.